In a bold and symbolic declaration that has stirred political discourse across Zambia, Spooky Malemwa, a prominent media figure affiliated with the United Party for National Development, UPND, in Western Province, asserted that only Bally himself could unseat President Hakainde Hichilema in the 2026 general elections. The statement, while seemingly paradoxical, is a strategic endorsement of the president's achievements and a subtle warning against complacency. By invoking Bally, a popular nickname for Hichilema, Malemwa underscores the idea that the president's strongest competitor is not the opposition, but rather the potential erosion of his own momentum if development efforts falter or public trust wanes. Malemwa's remarks come amid a wave of infrastructural and social transformation sweeping through Zambia's 156 constituencies. From the remote corners of Shangombo to the underserved districts of Kaputa and Lundazi, the UPND government has launched an ambitious development agenda aimed at bridging regional disparities and restoring dignity to historically marginalized communities. These efforts, according to Malemwa, are not merely political gestures but tangible interventions that have begun to reshape the lived realities of ordinary Zambians. Roads are being constructed, schools are receiving upgrades, and health facilities are being equipped to meet basic standards of care. In rural areas long neglected by previous administrations, the impact is particularly pronounced, with residents expressing renewed hope in the promise of inclusive governance. The assertion that only Bally can unseat HH is thus not a literal forecast of electoral defeat, but a rhetorical device meant to highlight the president's dominance and the internal discipline required to sustain it. It reflects a growing sentiment within the UPND ranks that the opposition lacks both the organizational capacity and the ideological coherence to mount a credible challenge in 2026. Instead, the real threat lies in the possibility of internal fragmentation, policy stagnation, or a failure to communicate achievements effectively to the electorate. Malemwa's statement serves as both a celebration of progress and a call to vigilance, reminding party loyalists that political capital must be continuously earned, not merely inherited. At the heart of this political narrative is the transformation of Bally from a campaign symbol into a governance brand. His presidency has been marked by a deliberate shift from populist rhetoric to technocratic execution, with emphasis on fiscal discipline, anti-corruption measures, and regional diplomacy. Under his leadership, Zambia has re-engaged with international financial institutions, restructured its debt portfolio, and positioned itself as a stable partner in Southern African development. These moves have earned praise from foreign observers and investors, but they also require careful domestic messaging to ensure that macroeconomic gains translate into grassroots benefits. Malemwa's endorsement is also a reflection of the evolving media strategy within the UPND. By framing the president as his own benchmark, the party reinforces a narrative of self-accountability and visionary leadership. It suggests that the bar has been set so high that only a deviation from Bally's current trajectory could jeopardize his re-election. This approach resonates with younger voters and urban professionals who value transparency and performance over partisan loyalty. It also challenges opposition parties to articulate alternative visions rather than relying on criticism alone. In Western Province, where Malemwa operates, the political landscape has undergone significant shifts. Historically a stronghold of opposition sentiment, the region has seen increased engagement from the central government, including targeted investments in agriculture, education, and digital infrastructure. These initiatives have begun to erode skepticism and foster a sense of inclusion, particularly among youth and women. Malemwa's media interventions are part of a broader effort to consolidate these gains and counter narratives of neglect or exclusion. The phrase, "Only Bally can unseat HH," thus functions on multiple levels. It is a declaration of confidence, a strategic warning, and a branding exercise rolled into one. It encapsulates the paradox of power, that the greatest risk to a successful leader is often internal drift rather than external challenge. In the Zambian context, where political transitions have historically been fraught with uncertainty, such statements carry weight. They signal to both supporters and critics that the current administration is aware of its strengths and vulnerabilities, and is prepared to defend its record with both humility and resolve. As the 2026 elections approach, the political terrain is expected to become increasingly competitive. Opposition parties will likely intensify their campaigns, leveraging economic grievances, regional disparities, and governance critiques to mobilize support. However, the UPND's strategy, as articulated by voices like Malemwa, appears focused on preemptive consolidation. By celebrating achievements while acknowledging the need for continued effort, the party positions itself as both responsive and resilient. In conclusion, Spooky Malemwa's statement is more than a soundbite. It is a strategic articulation of political philosophy. It reflects a nuanced understanding of electoral dynamics, media influence, and governance branding. It challenges the president and his team to remain vigilant, innovative, and connected to the people. And it invites the electorate to judge leadership not by promises, but by performance.